Most of us ignore the space directly above our heads. We treat the attic as a domestic graveyard, abandoning old furniture, decorations, and forgotten objects. It sits inside the footprint of our homes, yet we exclude it from our daily consciousness. By exiling our unwanted belongings to the top floor, we create a physical blind spot. Every night, we sleep separated by nothing more than drywall and insulation from a dark, unmonitored void. When strange events occur in these spaces, we rely on logic to explain them away. But certain cases reveal a pattern where rational explanations are slowly stripped away, replaced by physical evidence that contradicts how we believe our homes and reality should work. Because we spend so much effort ignoring the space above us, we leave it empty. And an empty, unobserved room can become a host for events that logic cannot follow. Uncertainty often begins with the mind. Consider a middle school boy living in a house with a sprawling, unconventional attic. The space was a maze of uneven flooring and oddly placed wooden beams, making it dangerous to navigate even in the light. He began waking up with gray grime between his toes. Soon, heavy objects from the attic, a box of photographs, a brass lamp, started appearing on his bedroom desk. His parents offered a standard explanation. He was sleepwalking and would outgrow the habit. That explanation became difficult to hold on to the night he woke up in pitch darkness. He wasn't in his bed. He was standing upright in the middle of the attic maze, surrounded by obstacles he couldn't see. Paralyzed by fear, he heard a distinct thud from the darkness behind him. It sounded like a footstep shifting weight on the floorboards. He had to navigate the hazardous floor back to the hatch in total darkness, a feat he couldn't replicate while awake. His father found the attic empty, yet the boy could never explain how he moved through the maze without injury. This is the point where the line between an internal dream and an external threat becomes impossible to distinguish. The mystery shifts when the evidence is recorded by someone else. In a generational family home, a teenager found a heavy black fireproof box tucked into a back corner of the attic. Inside were notebooks documenting a previous occupant's obsession with the house. The author had meticulously calculated the attic's dimensions and compared them to the rest of the house. Their math showed the attic was too small. There were several feet of space along one specific wall that were entirely unaccounted for. The journals mapped specific cracks and indents along that wall, pinpointing the exact location of the missing space. The author had also recorded timestamps of scratching and breathing noises coming from behind the wood. Following the journal's diagrams, the teenager's father used tools to tear the wall down. The math was accurate. Behind the drywall sat a deep, hidden room, running the entire length of the attic. The hidden room was empty, except for ritualistic black shapes and symbols covering the walls. But there was a problem. The space had no door, no hatch, and no alternative entrance. The journals provided a blueprint for a room that had been sealed long before the current family moved in. The presence of those markings suggests the house was built around a space that was never intended to be accessed. Sometimes the evidence is active and immediate. A man living alone in an old colonial house saw movement behind the tiny attic window while walking in his backyard at night. He climbed the ladder to find his storage bins overturned and the walls smeared with thick black paint. It was so fresh that it was still dripping down the wooden beams. He retreated to the floor below, only to hear two loud thumps and the sound of something heavy dragging across the attic floor directly above him. He grabbed a knife and charged back up the ladder, shouting to confront the intruder. The attic was empty, but new marks had appeared in the minutes he was gone. Long, deep claw gouges were now torn into the wood, layered over the wet paint. Police arrived and found no exits and no signs of a break-in. In a house where every footstep echoed, no one had been heard leaving. This was a physical desecration occurring in real time inside a sealed space. It leaves the homeowner with a set of facts that defy any standard investigation. These accounts show an increasing burden of proof. We move from a sleepwalker's uncertainty to hidden architectural voids to physical changes in a locked room. Yet these events occurred in lived-in homes, where the standard logic we use to feel secure failed. We live directly beneath these unmonitored spaces, separated by nothing more than drywall from areas we rarely visit. In each case, the mystery remained unsolved. The families eventually moved away, but they carried the weight of these unanswerable questions with them. Our homes are built to be sanctuaries, but they remain vulnerable as long as we choose to ignore the dark frontier sitting just above the ceiling.